Hey everybody, Beth Helvey, Couture Real Estate. I hope you're doing well today. I don't know how many of y'all are tired because you stayed up all night, but today is Wednesday, November 4th. And I want to talk to you about a situation that happened to me recently that comes with a word of warning. So, as a lot of you know, especially those of you that follow my videos, real estate is insane right now. Historically speaking, the week before, the week after a presidential election tend to be slow because most people are paying attention to what's going on in the nation. However, the last 2 weeks have been some of my busiest weeks in several months. Several months. It is almost like season, which is crazy for those of you who aren't familiar with how we do real estate and when our Florida real estate seasons are. So there's buyers coming. There's a lot of buyers. There's people wanting to put their property on the market. We still don't have enough inventory, but they're doing it. I've got people who want me to do research for them, do videos, things like that, gather information. There's a lot going on. So this tale is about a seller I have. This seller had his property on the market and we went under contract. We got a buyer, good price, good deal, get everything, go through the process, blah, blah, blah. And then right before we went under contract, or actually right around the time we went under contract, the seller put an offer on a property in the state where he wants to end up. Made a contingent on the sale of the property that he already owns, did everything right. Our contract fell apart. One of those things that happens, our contract fell apart. Seller decides that what he wants to do is take the property off the market for a couple months because there were some things he would have liked to have done to the house before he listed it. So he's going to take the cooler winter months to get some stuff done and then we're going to relist. Fine, because, it's actually a good idea what he's doing. I'm fully behind him. He calls the agent in the other state and said, listen, contract fell apart. I don't know if I'm going to get another offer. I need to let you know that I'm not going to be able to go through with my purchase because I need this house to sell in order to purchase that property out there. Other realtor goes, okay. Other realtor and I have been in contact anyways because, we're managing dates and stuff like that to make the transition from one state to the next as smooth as possible. And then it comes around. The listing contract is over. He says, this is just basically things telling me I should have gone ahead and done some of this extra work I wanted to do. Let's get it done. Like, absolutely. I'm all for it. So seller calls realtor in the other state and says, no, I'm going to withdraw my offer, get my escrow back. I want to do it before the time frame is up for him to be eligible to get the escrow back. Here's the tale of caution. The other realtor wanted him to basically give up his escrow, basically rescind the ability to get it back should he not sell the house here, and then keep the contract going, and then spend the rest of that time trying to get another contract on the property. Now, would we have gotten another contract on the property? Probably. But this particular seller was not comfortable with that situation. Hey, Ann, this particular seller was not comfortable, first of all, giving up his escrow. And second of all, being under contract for something when he wasn't under contract here. That's just outside of his comfort zone. And you know what? That's fine. Our job as realtors is to make sure that things are proceeding as they should so that you're comfortable. I'm not going to have someone buy a house when they need the proceeds from another house and that house proceeds aren't going to be available. We don't know if those house proceeds are going to be available. We don't know. So seller calls me and says, hey, listen, I called the other realtor and he wants me to give up my escrow. I'm like, why would you do that? You've already told me that you want to take your house off the market unless you've changed your mind on that. And he says, no. He says, I want to get this extra stuff done. I think it'll be good for the house. I want to leave a good house for whomever does it. There's a couple of things I've been meaning to do. Let's get it done. Absolutely. So my word of caution is this. The other realtor was fairly insistent about about getting the seller I'm working with to give up his escrow. And granted, it wasn't a lot of money, but it is if it's coming out of your pocket. May not be to somebody else, but when it's coming out of your pocket, it's a lot of money. And the seller felt pretty pressured. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And he says, well, I want to walk away. And I'm like, then you need to do that. you need to walk away. So buyers and sellers, if you're working with someone and they are pressuring you to do something like that, to give up the ability to retain your escrow, for example, in a situation that you're not comfortable with, because let's face it, if for some reason the property that he was selling didn't get put back under contract, he wouldn't have been able to buy the property that he had tried to purchase, okay? And he didn't want to be in that situation. He didn't want to hold the house up that he had under contract. He didn't want to have it hanging over his head. He didn't want to have to then possibly take an offer for his house that maybe wasn't what he wanted. He didn't want to lose the ability to do the little bit of work he wanted to do to the house that he, quite frankly, put off. He didn't want to lose that ability. And if you're working with someone that is pressuring you to do something that you really feel isn't right, then take a step back and rethink that. Now, in particular in my area, people tend to buy and sell because they want to. We don't get a lot of transfers in. We don't have a lot of people who are transferred in here from companies or from, whatever. A lot of people buy and sell here because they want to. And that tends to put a huge spin on things. Now, in areas where you've got, a family being transferred in, I understand that they may have to make some choices that they don't want to really, really make because inventory is really low. It's not necessarily the case here, okay? So just be really, really careful. We as realtors, our job is to give you advice. And sometimes that advice is not what you want to hear. Sometimes that advice is going to be, you need to do X, Y, Z if you want to sell your house. And I know you don't want to do X, Y, Z, but if you want what you're going to get out of it, you need to do this. And sometimes it's your price too high. Sometimes it's, you can't offer this much on this house because nobody's going to take it. And sometimes it's, what do you mean you want to do this in repairs? You do realize that that's not contractually backed up. So sometimes our clients don't want to hear this. And it's our job to tell you this, but it's ultimately our job to let you make that decision, okay? The only choice we have as realtors, if somebody wants to do something that we think is foolish or wrong, the only right we have as realtors is to sever our contract with them. We cannot make someone or force someone to do something that they don't want to do. Now, I'm talking legal stuff. If you're working with somebody who's doing something illegal, that's a whole nother video. I'm talking legal stuff. So if you are working with someone who you feel is pressuring you to do something that either you can't afford, you can't manage, time-wise, ability-wise, whatever, or that you're very uncomfortable with because you just don't feel like it's right, take a step back. Take a step back and think about it. Are you going to lose the house you have an offer on? Maybe. Are you going to blow up an offer you have on your house? Maybe. But be careful, because it's better to take a beat and think about something than to get involved in a situation and 2 weeks down the road go, I really can't afford this. I know I promised to do this to the house and I can't. I can't physically do whatever this job is. I can't financially or time-wise do whatever this job is. And then you're stuck. So don't let people talk you into doing things that you aren't sure you want to do or aren't comfortable doing. Or if you tell someone that you want to do something like cancel a contract and get your escrow back, allow them to advise you and weigh the options. But if you tell them, I really, really want my escrow back, I really want out of this contract, then they should do that because they are working for you, okay? So just be careful. I'm hearing a lot of crazy tales out there, and a lot of it is just because real estate is kind of at a frenzy right now. And it is. There's a lot of stuff going back and forth. There's a lot of offers going around. There's a lot of properties getting put on the market. It happens. But just be careful. Listen to your gut. And if you think that whatever you're doing is not the right decision, take a beat. Talk to your realtor. Get some advice, or talk to somebody else. Talk, to your parent or your brother or something like that. Weigh it out. Do a list. Whatever it is you do to sort things out. But don't let someone talk you into doing something that you don't think is right. Okay? So just be careful. That's just my really crazy word of warning. It was a really strange situation. The seller ended up getting his escrow back. It took several phone calls with him back and forth to say, come on, I want it back. I want this contract canceled. But he did, get it back. So I hope y'all are having a great day. It is beautiful today. Yes, I'm wearing a jacket because I'm cold because I live in Florida. And it's probably, I don't know, in the upper 70s. It's very, very breezy and sunny. So if you have the opportunity to go outside to get some vitamin D, please do so. Drink a lot of water, wear your sunscreen, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.